No, I know
everyone
she
still
can
shows
sing,
up for
she
her.
perform well.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was still alive, though.
But the point that I'm making is that I'm waiting for the age where men stop looking at me. I mean, it's like, it doesn't even matter what I'm wearing. If I'm somewhere, men see me, they think, oh, maybe this is my shot. This is what a lot of women endure. So I don't think that the question of aging out of men's interests is really a real one.
Well, men, when they're looking at you, they're not thinking, they probably think you're pretty, I guess, but they're also thinking, I want her for sex.
Yeah.
They're not thinking they want to marry you or anything.
And that's the problem a lot of black women experience.
How do you feel about that? Love, the end of love, wait, I just went down, I want to quote it right. Oh, your book, The End of Love, Racism, Sexism, and the Death of Romance.
Yes.
You argue that it is harder for a black woman to find a long-term relationship. And why do you think that is? Because it is. Why do you think that is?
The problem is that so many men are expecting a woman who is slim, white, and pliant. So they want a woman who is fair-skinned with straight hair and a slender physique and is going to do what they say. Now, as you might imagine, after the many feminist movements that we have had in this world, and especially in the West, women aren't mostly up to that. We, for those of us who are looking for a man, want someone who's going to be a partner, someone who's going to be a companion and equal. But unfortunately, that's not the view that many men have.
So that's what you mean by the end of love?
Well, partially what I'm talking about in the book is the reality that romantic relationships, people used to call them love, but love and romance are not the same. But romantic relationships that people used to expect would happen to everyone if you were just attractive enough as a woman, if you had enough money as a man, well, then, you get your taco as a woman and a man's wallet, and they're compatible and you're going to be together forever. More people are either not finding romantic partnerships when they want them or getting into them, such as I have done, and then realizing, oh, I don't want that. No, let me get out of that. So at the current time, according to a couple of different studies that I've seen, 52% of adult women are single. That makes us the majority. Some of us are choosing singlehood, like myself, but others, they want to have a man, but they don't want to follow the old traditional rules to get one.
But if they don't, they're never going to get a man.
There it is. You either are a trad wife or you're not a wife for a lot of men. Not every single one.
So, but the real reason that black women don't have long-term relationship unless they get with a white man, is because black women, especially the educated ones, they're like nasty. They think they're equal to the man. If they have an education, they think they're smarter than the man. They think they don't need a man. They have nasty attitude, just.
Okay, I agree with two of those four things. You said we think we're equal to men.
Yeah.
And
also they don't want, I noticed that educated women of all races, but especially black women, they don't make for good wives and mother to men children.
So now this
that's
is
why
the
I tell
issue.
men they shouldn't marry an educated woman because she would never make for a good wife and a good mother to his children.
Now that doesn't make any sense. Now, first of all, it's quite clear that I'm not nasty, and I'm pretty well educated. But
I bet you're
feel
different
like,
when the men are dealing with you.
well, I'm dealing with a man right now.
I know, but you are nice now, but if we were dating or married, you'd be held to pay.
We're dealing in counterfactuals. Okay, let's focus on the things that are really going on.
Okay.
So, no, in reality, a lot of women are single because men are looking for simplicity. And they're especially looking for women who are considered attractive enough in a white visual economy. I call these women sufficiently white. Oh, what's their body size like? Oh, okay, what's the hair like? Oh, how much money do they have? Don't get it twisted. There are plenty of men, and I've encountered multiple men like this, who are looking for successful women so they could take it easy. Right. So we're dealing with a number of confusing problems, not the least of which is that women do have high standards, and women who want male partners want to find an equal. But unfortunately, a lot of men are looking for a woman who is subordinate.
But it's normal for a man to look for a wife that will obey him, that would not be trying to go to work, but would stay home and raise his children, watch over his children, keep the house clean, and stay barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
That's a trad wife.
That's why.
I think you're right. It is normal, and in the sense that it's historically been typical.
And that's
but it's not
that
helpful. Worked for who? It worked for the men.
It worked for the men and the women in the good old days, but now it's not working for either the man or the woman.
There it is.
Because the man can't find a woman that is a common sense woman anymore.
Well, I think instead of having common sense, women want to have dignity and respect. Hence feminism.
That's a mess, though.
No, feminism has given us a sense of who we are and what we can achieve in the world.
The women now, feminism has caused women to be old and lonely and lost.
I don't think feminism is causing women to age specifically.
Meaning that they're getting old with no husband, no children, and they regret it that I had a little career. And so once that ego fulfillment is not working, they realize I should have gotten married, I should have had children, but it's too late because a man don't want an old woman.
That's not about love at all. Well, you know, it's interesting because I think a growing number of women are realizing that we can either be trad wives, as you've articulated, or we could be single and happy and partying it up with our friends. So I meet a lot of married women who look at my life and wish they could have what I have, you know, to be successful, to be on TV doing various things, and really to be cultivating the kind of community that I want to have for myself.
But that's not life. That's just a false imitation of life.
How's it not life?
The TV thing and the party thing and the degree thing are going to fade away, and then you're going to be lonely.
You know,
reality is going to set in, and you're going to think, what happened? Because all that stuff is not fulfilling you.
Oh, it is.
It's just giving you an ego gratification, but it does nothing for the real you.
Well, I was talking about my spirituality.
That's why when you're alone, you feel lonely.
No, I have my
spirituality. Is not around.
I have my community of women and fellow practitioners. Not all of them are women, but many of them are. So I have a group of people, not to mention my biological family, who love me and support me, who I see regularly. And that's what we need in our lives. We don't have to have a marriage to be happy. In fact, one of my friends, her mother was married for nearly 50 years, and they got separated. And when my friend talked to her mom about it, she said, you know, you can feel really lonely in a marriage.
Right. The man and the woman feel lonely because even with the marriage, it doesn't fulfill the soul of the person. It's just two people come together to make babies, to raise a family. But the real love comes from God, of course, but it doesn't fulfill. But to be a woman and to get old and don't have that is hard for the woman.
I think a lot of people want to scare women with that. They want to be like, you're going to be old one day and no man's going to want you.
No, I'm hearing it from women all the time.
Let me tell you something. I went to the Anita Baker concert, you know, when she was like, I'm retiring, and then she didn't retire because she got... Right. But anyways, it was amazing, this concert. And Stevie Wonder showed up. Like a surprise guest, Stevie Wonder just got on the stage. I don't know if I'm about to get in trouble for what I'm about to say. But anyway, let me tell you how Stevie Wonder was trying to holler at Anita Baker. I mean, the way, like, just the interactions between them. I'm not sure how old Anita Baker is, but I think that she's over 70. You know, she's at least in her mid-60s.
So she's still alive?
Anita Baker is an amazing songstress, and everyone still shows up for her.
She perform well.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was still alive, though.
But the point that I'm making is that I'm waiting for the age where men stop looking at me. I mean, it's like, it doesn't even matter what I'm wearing. If I'm somewhere, men see me, they think, oh, maybe this is my shot. This is what a lot of women endure. So I don't think that the question of aging out of men's interests is really a real one.
Well, men, when they're looking at you, they're not thinking, they probably think you're pretty, I guess, but they're also thinking, I want her for sex.
Yeah.
They're not thinking they want to marry you or anything.
And that's the problem a lot of black women experience.
How do you feel about that?
That's a problem for me personally. I mean, unless I'm also sexually interested in that person, which doesn't happen a lot. But overwhelmingly, black women are not viewed as being worthy of sexual relationships, long-term sexual partnerships. Usually when people are looking for a long-term romantic partnership, they're looking for someone who is sufficiently white. And all of the data show this.
Right, it is, but because they can't find a black woman that they know that they can be one with, they can have a family with, they're not going to have to fight with her all the time and blah, blah, blah. So they look outside of the black race because they're looking for a woman that won't be trying to be equal to the man and won't be all nasty, and you know how black women are.
I mean, I know how stereotypes about black women are. And
but
I
you
know
know how
that
they
white
are, too.
guys are the ones who invented those.
What?
White people have invented the stereotype of black women being
But we can
sapphires,
see it.
angry,
We can see
screaming.
it for ourselves.
You mean to tell me
You know-
you've never seen an angry white woman?
No, I'm not saying I've never seen it, but I'm saying that majority of black women are angry and out of control, and so black men
There's
are
no
seen-
data on that. You made that up.
I don't need data on it. I see it by myself. Common sense shows it to me, right?
No, you cannot.
And I hear
That's-
other men say
no.
that too. They don't want a black woman because they don't want to deal with the attitude.